Hello friends. So the mains exam for NABARD Assistant Manager in grade A is going to be held on 16th November 2021. So the syllabus and the information handout is already released. So as per the information handout, the examination is going to be of two shifts, paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 will be descriptive one, which is English, general English, and the number of questions will be 3 questions, and total marks will be 100, and the duration is 90 minutes. Then in the second shift, the paper 2 will be held, in which objective type questions, 30 number of questions will be there, and 50 marks will be assigned to them, and it will be of duration 30 minutes. Then after that, descriptive type questions, in which 6 questions will be asked, out of which 4 questions are to be attempted, and the marks for the descriptive type is 50 marks, and it will be of duration 90 minutes. So out of the 4 questions to be attempted, 2 will be with difficulty level of 15 marks each, and 2 will be of 10 marks each. So if we look at the descriptive type paper for general English, so we will have to attempt 3 questions. The first question is write an essay. So you have to write an essay on any of the on one of the following topics of the given topics. So two topics. So as per the sample here, the two topics are given. So we will discuss about the essay to be written according to the given topic. So the two topics are 3 effective measures to eradicate illiteracy in India. Explain how the measures suggested by you will be effective. And the second one is, it is often said that computerization result in unemployment. Do you agree? Explain. So friends, as per, if we look at the first essay, the 3 effective measures to eradicate illiteracy. So to, as we know, the India, in India the illiteracy is a very large scale problem, and it affects many people. And though India's literacy rate is nearly 70 or 75%, still then a large number of people are illiterate in India. So to eradicate illiteracy, we have to adopt certain measures, certain important measures are to be taken, and those measures may be, see, if illiteracy has to be eradicated, then first and foremost of all, the education, the, as per the government's act, the Right to Education Act, it guarantees free and compulsory education to all children up to the age of 14 years. So this act is a very important act for eradicating illiteracy, and the enactment or the implementation of this act is very essential, and for that, good quality education must be provided free of cost to all the children up to the age of 14 years. So good quality schools should be set up, in which the quality of teaching must be ensured, and the quality of teaching must be kept at par with other countries, like the developed ones like USA or UK, the way they are implementing their school education systems. So in that way, we can also adopt certain uh, stringent measures to eradicate illiteracy in India. The first thing is, the school level education must be imparted very efficiently. Then the second measure is, the awareness must be created about educating the children, as in rural areas most people, they generally tend to look at education in a very casual way. They, in rural areas mostly, they do not realize how important education is for their children. So mostly the children in rural areas, they are employed in their household work or any agricultural work to support their family. So the schools, they need to provide certain uh, the certain various measures that can help in the enhancing the enrollment level of the schools. The enrollment level is the number of children that take admission in schools. So midday meal is one of the schemes, but those midday meal scheme or free books, free bicycle, or any other even if, in today's age the online education is being given importance. So the children must be imparted with technology, and they must also be provided with the devices that can help them to learn education online, to learn online. And so for that the government or any other organization, it may contribute towards providing these facilities to the children, especially in the rural areas where education, the quality of education is very low. And to enhance that quality, good quality education must be provided, and education should be accessible to each and everyone. The third measure is the expenditure of our GDP on education. In India, we generally, the as per the educational policy, 6% of the GDP must be spent on education, but that is not the case in today's in the current budget also. And as far, so far 6% GDP has not been spent in educational sector. So the government needs to spend more in creating new schools, recruiting good quality teachers, and enhancing the quality of education, providing technological help to the children. As during this COVID period, many schools were shut down, and the children in rural areas, especially in rural areas, they suffered a lot due to the lack of good teaching material. And due to the shutdown of the schools, the offline mode was affected. And in rural areas, due to the unavailability of proper network, the children were facing problems to get the education from their teachers. So the online education system, as per the need of the hour, the online education system must be strengthened, and it should be aided with government funding, so that each and every child living in rural areas, they must get the benefit of online education, and the government must provide them with the devices like smartphones or any other device that can help them to learn online education. The second topic is, it is often said that computerization results in unemployment. So as you know, in today's world, computerization has led to many manual work being converted to computerized work. So the work which was earlier done by hand or manually or by using people, now that work can be done using the computer. Many works are there. So computerization has taken away the jobs of many people, but at the same time computerization has also created new jobs. So it cannot be said that computerization always results in unemployment. The thing is how the computerization has helped to create new jobs, that is the importance. You see, due to computerization, we can do online jobs, we can do sitting at home, we can work for any other company, or we can do any online work from home. So we cannot say that it has resulted in unemployment, but the skilled, for working in computer you need skill. So unskilled labor and unskilled unemployment is definitely affected. But if people learn the skills to work using computer, then definitely the computerization may lead to further employment. So we cannot say that computerization always results in unemployment. So then we have to write a précis on the passage. So as per a précis is actually a summarization of a passage. So we have to write the summary of the passage in 150 words using a suitable title. So as per this passage, let me read it. In this age when the popular involvement in day to day matters is in mounting, it is the electronic systems that offer us a potential service infrastructure which could, with careful programming, probably take care of a very large element of what we describe as mechanical procedural governance without all the distortions, corruptions, and harassments which constitute the daily misery of the average citizen. Of course, the electronic systems will only behave to the extent that they are properly programmed, but this is not no impossible task today. Once we move our minds beyond the mere use of electronic revolution for business efficiency and higher profitabilities and apply it to the task of reducing the routine repetitive activities of governance, we will conserve time and energy for more important and creative tasks. In other words, the electronic revolution can make for better and more effective handling of real everyday problems. Additionally, to providing the basic service of computerized information banks even in less developed conditions, the potential of the electronic world to take over a great deal of what is called bureaucratic paperwork has been vividly demonstrated. Licensing system involving endless form filling in endless copies, tax matters which baffle millions of citizens, particularly those who have nothing to hide, election systems which require massive supervisory mobilizations or referendums based on minuscule samples which seldom reflect the reality at the social base. At these points, the electronic advantage is seen and recognized. However, we must proceed further. It is possible to foresee a situation where the citizen, with his personalized computer entry card, his number, is able to enter the electronic network for a variety of needs now served by regiments of officials, high and low. Indeed, this is already happening in a number of countries. From simple needs, we will move to more complex servicing and ultimately into creativity or what is called artificial intelligence. So, this passage is about the the changing uh, the changing facets of information technology and the impact of artificial intelligence. So, as per this passage, in this age, the you see in day to day matters, electronic systems are becoming more important and very large the various things that we do manually or which require a lot of paperwork or which require a lot of you see, if you go to any government office, you have to apply for a form, you have to wait in the queue, you have to also sometimes due to this corruption you have to pay the bribe. So to get some work done, official work done or government work done, or you to avail any certificate or to get any document verified or anything else, we need to go through a lot of people and through a lot of processes and a lot of stages. So this creates the problem in the in efficiency, bureaucratic, the essentially the bureaucratic interference in the human in the average citizen's life. So to the bureaucratic paperwork that is taking a lot of stages, a lot of time to be done, and a lot of money is also wasted because of this, and also there is scope of more corruption. So now with the help of computerization and with the help of artificial intelligence, we are moving towards an age where we no longer have to depend on that sort of problem. We can directly sitting at our home, we can get the official work done and everything done by using artificial intelligence. So essentially this passage says about that the regiments of officials, those government officials who are working, their work will be replaced by the artificial intelligence. and it will lead to better governance. We have often heard of e-governance, so this will lead to less chance of corruption, and it will lead to a transparency in the government's work, and it's also save time and money. Next, we have to write a letter. So there are two letters that are given. One is formal, one is informal. So we have to write a letter to younger brother explaining him how agricultural sector has changed in the last decade, and we have to write a letter to the branch manager of a crop insurance company sharing a good experience of customer service in settling a claim. So in the first letter we can describe that in how the agricultural sector has changed the last decade in India. You see, in the last decade, the agricultural sector has gone through several changes. Now, many new schemes have come up, like the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, which provides crop insurance to the farmers. Then, soil health card scheme. The farmers are getting soil health card, and they have a knowledge about the fertility status of the soil. Then uh, the various other schemes are there, like uh, Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, or the various other schemes that have come up during in the last decade, and during 2010 to 2020. So the various schemes that have come up that have greatly changed the agriculture. Now uh, the irrigation system have changed. We have implemented micro irrigation systems like drip and